Brought to you by Pfizer.
In this video, you're going to see the future.
U.S. Treasury is higher.
Breaking news. We've got a livestock there.
You awakening wonders. Thanks for joining us for Stay Free with Russell Brand on this glorious day that the Lord has made. Timcast, thanks for the raid. That's so thank you, Tim Paul, for sending your audience our way. We are part of Rumble and Rumble Premium's lineup that includes Crowder and Rubin and Kim Iverson and of course Tim Paul. Dan Bongino, whatever happened to that guy? And who among us laments his passing? No, Dan, you're doing great work at the FBI. There's no doubt about it. Over the course of the show, we're going to be talking about my country, the United Kingdom, and how it's gone crazy. But of course, we're also talking about Kanye West. And is it possible for a man of colour to even join the Ku Klux Klan? Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's a real-life Dave Chappelle sketch. Let me know what you think about it in the comments and the chat. If you're watching us on X, we love the platform X. It's run by Elon Musk. It's free speech, whether you agree with it or not, whether you think Elon Musk goes far enough or not. Surely you have to acknowledge he's done a lot for free speech. YouTube, on the other hand, is a cipher and passageway and portal for globalist ideas and globalist agenda, attempting to normalize their systems of power. Sorry about that, I've not been well. Attempting to normalize their systems of power and authority. I want to say hello to everyone on locals like Thomas Beard and Blessed Old Bird and Kazo and Roy E. Val is dead. Yes, we're sorry that Val Kilmer has passed over. Broke on through to the other side in his role as Jim Morrison. He is now in the Eternal Dark Knight. Of course, he played Batman. His tombstone is up because he was Doc Holliday. My tribute to you, Val Kilmer. You was a pretty cool, glamorous, handsome actor. And when he was in Top Gun Maverick, did you feel a bit sad about that? Like you know, he's wearing that scarf and he couldn't talk and stuff. Oh, man. You know when I made that movie, Arthur? Yes, you did see it. You know when I made that movie? Oh, Crowder as well. Steve Crowder. Thanks for the raid, guys. You know when, like, I'd done that movie, Arthur, like Nick Nolte was in it and he was kind of older. And I remember him being sort of like being sort of shoved around by the director. He was a guy called Jason Weiner, directed a bunch of Modern Families and stuff. He was a nice guy as well. But anyway, watching Nick Nolte, like a big old bear of a man, being sort of shoved around, I felt it was one of the early inklings that Hollywood is not a place that you want to stay. I'm not even talking about sort of nefarious occultist parties and that. I'm just talking about the vapid culture of glamour. Val Kilmer, Batman, Doc Holliday, Jim Morrison, Iceman. See you later, man. Peace out. Peace out. On the other side, Val Kilmer. There you go. Yeah, Dudley Moore. Now I love that guy. Let's get into some of the... let's have a look at what's been going on all around the world. Is it... Let me know what you want me to talk about first. Cory Booker's filibuster. A literal celebration of talking for ages and ages. I see you in the comments. If talking for ages and ages without making a point is going to be applauded, someone's going to have to stop paying me money. If the world slips you a Jeffrey, stroke the furry wall. Stroke the furry wall. Hello, everyone joining us from Mug Club. You're welcome here. Refugees from Bongino's army, you are welcome here. And all of you coming over from Timcast, thanks for coming. Now, this is a time where conspiracy theories are being revealed, exposed, discovered, and discussed at an alarming rate. Turns out Lee Harvey Oswald's innocent as a lamb, as innocent and as long as the day. Turns out that Building 7 didn't just collapse of its own accord. And now we're reaching into even pre-paperclip conspiracies, actual Nazi conspiracies. Did Adolf Hitler even die in that bunker? Can we take nothing for granted? Here's some files being released by Javier Milei, the premier and leader of Argentina, saying that it seems that Hitler actually left Germany. Here's old Hitler in his prime, having a lovely time at the 1936 Olympics, ruined by Jesse Owens running a bit too fast for an African American. Although, if you are an African American and you're in Hitler's Germany in the 1930s, maybe you're incentivized to shift. Here's Hitler having a lovely time at the Nazi Olympics in 1936, providing some evidence that perhaps he was using methamphetamine in its early 1930s. Old-timey style drugs, baby. Man. Is my audio still on? There's Hitler having a tough time of it over it. Yeah, it seems to me that Adolf Hitler may have had some psychological problems. Yeah, he was on meth, says my chimp in the Rumble chat. Underneath him, Baraki, a filibuster is an effort to block a political action, not an effort to advertise the greatness of it, filibusters, nor an attempt to break a record. I think we all know what filibusters are because of the brilliant film that's starring James Stewart, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, where in order to delay or in other ways impede a bill vote or congressional progress in other ways, you talk for a real long time. But have the Democrats inadvertently and accidentally provided the perfect metaphor for their decline? Certainly our friend on CNN, Holy Toledo Man, says that only 21% of even Democrat voters approve of the current state of the party. And if you find yourself celebrating just talking, you want to have a look at more Hitler? Do you guys want to have a quick look at Hitler? Is that what you're saying? Have another look at him. Here's old Hitler filibustering his way through the 1936 Olympics. He ain't looking good. Yeah, that's not good. That's not a person you want to be running a global Reich, I'd say. He's not looking at all well. Let's have a look at our friend Holy Toledo Man for a moment, because I never fail to enjoy him. Coming up on the show, we're going to be talking about Kanye West, of course. We're going to be talking about UK prison penitentiary Ireland. We're going to be talking about parents getting arrested for private conversations on a WhatsApp group. Let me know in the comments and chat if you are from the UK, if you're terrified, if you're in the United States. Do you recognize what a bullet you've dodged with the MAGA Maha movement? And let me know what concerns you have about that. Welcome those of you that have come over from Timcast and Mug Club. We're going to be having a gay old time here. Let's have a look. First of all, let's have a look at the Proud Democrats celebrating Cory Booker talking for a long, long time.
Start with New Jersey Senator Cory Booker's marathon speech in the Senate.
You know you have just broken the record. Do you know how proud this caucus is of you?
Senator Schumer breaking the news that his colleague from across the Hudson broke the record for the longest speech on the Senate floor. Booker spending those 25 hours criticizing the policies of the Trump administration.
Fox 8's Teresa Priolo is here to break it all down for us. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Natasha and Sevia. What a feat from a Jersey boy, no less. New Jersey senior Senator Cory Booker delivers the longest speech in congressional history, shattering the record of segregationalist Strom Thurmond.
My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
The mad irony of it all is, in fact, the point of the filibuster was to delay conversation and implementation of various DOGE measures. DOGE, if you're not familiar with it yet, is a government agency headed up by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and others that is paying particular effort to exposing and undoing government overreach and excessive expenditure. How ridiculous that during Cory Booker's monumental ranting, you were paying everyone that was in Congress. You're paying all them legislators. It was in and of itself a colossal waste of time and money. What better metaphor could you have for the decline of the Democrats and their movement than the endless gasbaggery, windbaggery and hollow rhetoric of one of their number being celebrated as some kind of achievement? Let me know in the comments and chat if you think that this is a further lapidary announcement on the tombstone of a dying party. And is it a party that deserves to die? Should they just scrap that entire movement? As a result of this simple fact, they had become a cipher for globalism. They belong to the very same set of interests that control YouTube through Alphabet. They are part of the same kind of bureaucratic nightmare that gives you Ursula von der Leyen at the EU, or the new proposed digital currencies and various measures that claim to help, while in fact at best being a waste of your time and likely measures designed to control you. Let me know what you think in the comments in the chat. Liberty Gardener 907 and Draco Americanus and Bulldozer 75. All of you guys, let me know what you think about that. Let me know if that was an inadvertent perfect metaphor. While we're still streaming on X and YouTube, I want to invite you to join us on Rumble, where our new premium lineup, if you haven't got Rumble Premium yet, man, you gotta get Rumble now, because you get an ad-free experience, you get additional content, not just from me, but from Crowder and Tim Pool and all of us that advocate for free speech. And free speech means you can say what you want in the chat, like the Renegade saying simply faggot, which I can only assume is directed at me. But I respect you. I respect your right to call me a faggot. Faggot, you'll be aware, is a term that comes from the bundled up homosexuals when witches were burned in days of yore. That's where that term comes from. The word cunt, on the other hand, is an Anglo-Saxon word derived from the same source as words like kin and kiln, meaning that the female reproductive and sexual organ ought to be regarded as a kind of hearth and creator of life and warmth. The preferred term, vagina, is a Latin-derived word that is derived from the same source as scabbard, meaning that from a Latin perspective or an establishment's perspective, the vagina only exists for the insertion of the, well, presumably the penis. That's what I'm guessing. So, in a sense, the word cunt that's ultra offensive is a less offensive term if you are a philologist, if you care about language, if you're an etymologist, if you care about the origins of language. Let me know what you think about that. Russell sees you in the chat. Hello, all of you. I love all of you guys. Sheaf, that's right, Bill Dozer 74. It's the same as sheaf. You're right. What cunt is from Latin too? No, it's not actually sundown snowscape. It's a Celtic word. All right, guys. Now, we are going to make a sideways move and discuss Kanye West. Kanye West, if you ask me, sits at the apex of celebrity. Was anyone more famous than Kanye in his pomp? Married to a Kardashian. There's another K. But now he's added the third and potentially final K. What does Kanye West's ascent and descent tell us about celebrity? Many argue that it's comparable, and I'd love to know what you think about this in the comments and chat, to the story of Michael Jackson. That when people start getting into spats about royalties and money and the way that the entertainment industry, and in this case in particular the music industry, is run, they tend to get in a lot of trouble. Is Kanye West a wayfarer, waymaker and pioneer in the bizarre new territories of celebrity, or are we witnessing a public mental meltdown? Certainly we all know what type of woman he prefers. Man, some of those women that he takes to those parties that are just wearing sort of the sheer material that tights are made out of. You know that, where that lady he's going out with. I can't even, when that comes up on my feed, I can't even look at that stuff. I've made a covenant with mine eyes. Kanye, don't drag us down into the gutter. Let's see if Kanye's making a political point. Does an African American, and let's face it, no one was more victimized by the Ku Klux Klan than African Americans. Is this an act of reclamation? Let me know in the comments and chat. Should Kanye West be celebrated and adored? Or is Kanye West, I don't know, an anti-Semite nightmare? Let's have a look at him in his own words. Rick Sturd in the chat says, Kanye's an eccentric artist. Crazy and brilliant. Zion sucks baby penis says, that's not a London accent, it's a faggot Essex accent. Man, you're being pretty particular there. Because what, Barking, Dagenham, Rainham, Purfleet, East Ham, West Ham, Upminster, Hornchurch, where are these lines drawn? If you're trying to stoke division between Essex and East London, my friend, then what hope is there in the Middle East? All of this and more we'll be discussing on the course of Stay Free with Russell Brand. Stay with us. Let's have a look at Kanye West, who's dominating the news cycle from the periphery and edgeland. As a person who is myself occupied the center of the culture, I remember when I was married to Katy Perry. Remember that? I was married to Katy Perry. I was in Warner Brothers movies. I was on the front of the Rolling Stone magazine. I was hosting SNL. Some people in the chat go, you were unsuccessful. You're missing the point. I'm not trying to glory in that. I'm just saying I was a tourist in that world. It all attempts at static power will stagnate. We must be dynamically powerful in the living flow of our Lord. Do you know that yet? Do you not know that your body is a temple, a temporary tabernacle, a tent that will pass away, but you may yet house the Holy Spirit? Let's have a look at Kanye West wrestling with mammoth power, baby.
Because the Jews, they move.
Just as a visual image, it's interesting. I mean, as soon as you look at it, you're like, well, this is interesting from Kanye. I mean, that's someone who's been on, like, regular shows, like Jimmy Fallon and that. Coming up, like Letterman. Coming up now, it's Kanye. What the fuck is he wearing?
Because the Jews, they move in the tunnels. They move where you can't see them. They're an invisible hand, and they'll get, like, what they'll do is they'll threaten people.
I like the way my man's handling it. Yeah. Kenny, should we talk about costume? Before we get into the content, should we talk about costume just for a moment?
They'll threaten people, oh, we're going to take your tours away. We're going to drop your artists. You got to say this. You're like, how many people put, I stand with my Jewish people, 3 years ago?
Are we at a Motel 6? What's the location? Who decorates their walls that colour? Where are those curtains coming from? Where is this black leather Ku Klux Klan interview taking place? And how do you get interviews with Kanye? Kanye, if you're watching this, most likely on X, yay. Come on, man. Come and talk to us. If you do an interview, I will wear white Ku Klux Klan stuff while you wear black Ku Klux Klan stuff. And why can't Ku Klux Klan be reclaimed? Klan from around the world. We'll wear rainbow ones. We'll wear LGBTQ plus Klan. LGBT Ku Klux Klan. Yes, Kanye, that's got to be worth an interview.
And what I did is I stood on it this time. I never backed down. That's my whole thing. That's why I was mad about removing that. Somebody taught me into removing that Jay-Z tweet.
What's really good is someone had to mic Kanye. So someone had to go, okay, do you mind, Kanye? We're getting a little bit of shash on that microphone. Can we just move it here? Like, how many sound men in history have had to go, your Klan hood is causing a little bit of feedback on the mic. Could you mind if I adjust the microphone? Checky check 1. Microphone. Checky check 2. Checky check. Microphone. Checky check, man. You're tuned to the sounds of the Ku Klux Klan.
That somebody taught me into removing that Jay-Z tweet because it was just like, nah, the whole idea is no matter what, I'm not going to back down. So by doing a swastika chain, it then ruffles some feathers.
Yes, the swastika has ruffled feathers over the course of history. I remember the person who mostly ruffled them was this little body rocker. Yeah, he was a little feather ruffler, that guy. You could say what you like about Adolf Hitler. He ruffled a lot of feathers, baby. Let's get back.
It then ruffled some feathers. And then I really saw the comparison of me and Puff with the Diageo and the Adidas situation.
Not a lot of people that are making comparisons to Puff Daddy nowadays, are they? People are kind of distancing that. I went to one white party that I saw nothing, man. I smelled some baby oil, but I saw nothing. Kanye, though, he's leaning in. I like Diddy. I mean, yeah, I like the questions that people ask like this. How come Diddy's the one that they've selected? That's Tate, innit, that said that. Like, he's like, why is it that's the person that's getting hit up on? What, like, do you seriously think that across all Hollywood, think of your most favourite stars. Some of them are pre-regular people, just regular married and all that. But Hollywood has always been built around decadence and hedonism. Like whether you're going back to your Fatty Arbuckles or your Errol Flynns or like that. That's what it's about. That's what it's always been about. So any Hollywood star that you can think of or name, go on, think of one, name one, put them in the Rumble chat, guys. Unless they're super double tied down to some sort of theological bind, some proper moral connection, they got skeletons, man. Who do you think's at them parties on Epstein Island? Well, we know some of them. Bill Gates, he was a regular attendee. Bill Clinton, he was a regular attendee. But there was a lot of big stars going to those things. Who was that dude? Was it Chris Tucker? Like, Chris Tucker just did stand-up about it, I think. Chris Tucker, Gene Wilder. I know Gene Wilder. Oh, yeah, how did Gene... Yeah, what happened there, man? That was a bit off-key, wasn't it? Yeah, like, you know, like, so, like, whichever stars you're thinking of, they probably had a bunch of hedonistic Hollywood Babylon thing go on. Let me know in the comments and chat what you think about that and what you think about Kanye. Let's just watch him round out this interview.
Need a situation. Yeah. Regardless if they could have locked me up for taxes or not, they wasn't playing fair. Like, okay, cool, fair deal. You did good, we did good. It's like, no, you leaving with nothing. We have to destroy you.
It's pretty fascinating, isn't it? Kanye West's own telling of his tale of decline, of cultural embrace and celebration to that very, very elite level. Kanye West has known the upper echelons of total fame to a degree that few people, who's in that on that list, Madonna, Jay-Z, Michael Jackson, the absolute zenith of stardom. If people can be embraced to that degree, then shunned and abandoned, do you really think it's about anti-Semitic tropes or bizarre costume choices or taking out his latest squeeze, and they look pretty squeezable, on the red carpet dressed in next to nothing, lathered and latexed up? Don't get into it, Russ. Don't get into it. You've tried that pathway. Oh, yeah. The alluring serpent, so alluring, so attractive, so hypnotic and encircling. Kanye West is a massive star. He's clearly some kind of genius. He clearly walks that line where creativity means a mercurial inner mobility that by almost necessity requires that you're a little unstable. What's he really done? He said some crazy stuff. The people, like one of the guys that works here, our director Isaac, he's Jewish. He's not like getting all uptight about stuff. He's just listening to him going, oh, the Jews done this, the Jews done that. Clearly there's some extraordinary relationships between the United States and Israel. Clearly there's interesting stuff going on in the entertainment industry. Plainly we ought to be able to talk about these things without getting sort of quagmired. Why is Kanye West one of the few people that's operated in that elite space that is now absolutely maligned? And can you think of other examples? Cornelius LX says, Candace Owens says Kanye's personal trainer put him in an MK Ultra experiment and he survived the brainwashing. Interesting. Yeah, I don't, Len Trish McLeod, I don't focus on him long enough to know. But he's like, maybe you're right, maybe I am giving him too much credit. But like, man, I think anyone that can create artistically what he created, there's an argument that there's a real raw, rare brilliance there. Either it's a mental breakdown or a portal into the true nature of fame. What I believe this ever-changing culture has to learn to do is accommodate people from the periphery. Otherwise, you're going to get banal and boring art. You also have to be able to handle difficult conversations about race and religion and power without frantically panicking about that. Otherwise, these blackmail scandal stories just become overwhelming. Whatever's going on with Kanye and real power, it certainly isn't something that should be prohibited. That's why I'm grateful for Rumble and Rumble Premium, where we can openly talk about these things, where we've got the room and space to be wrong, and where you can push back. You can say people are Nazis, you can say people are Zionists, you can say like Femboy Pan, you look very handsome today, Russell, and I will agree with you wholeheartedly. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. We've got so much more to talk about today. American Health and the Heart Foundation being funded by Kellogg's and Coke and people that basically would prefer you had a heart attack than change your diet. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about my country, the prison penitentiary, and this new show over there that is actually a fictionalized drama, a total drama, in fact, that is influencing and impacting politics. We'll be talking about Keir Starmer, two-tier Keir, as he's known, and the increasing and incremental globalism that threatens to consume all of Europe. Before that, though, here's a quick message from one of our partners. Do you feel like you're permanently in fight, flight, or freeze under the pressures of the world? Of course you do. The system is designed to keep you in Luciferian entrapment. And until a certain little someone comes back, hopefully Isaac's mob won't nail him up again. In the meantime, you need bioptimizers. Do you ever feel like your body's stress switch is permanently stuck on, like you can't shut your mind off at night? Believe me, baby. That was me until I discovered what was really happening. It wasn't just stress, it was magnesium deficiency. I had barely any magnesium. And not just magnesium, but all 7 types. That's when I discovered Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers. This changed everything about me. Don't be disgusting. Within days of taking it, I noticed I was falling asleep faster, waking up refreshed, and handling daily stress so much better. What makes it different? Most supplements only contain 1 or 2 types of magnesium. I call it magnesiummy. Magnesium Breakthrough delivers all 7 forms your body needs in 1 capsule to balance your stress response and support your sleep quality. You can put it in your mouth, you can put it in your anus. You're free. This is America. The results speak for themselves. Over 1,500 5-star reviews from people who've reclaimed their calm, their sleep, and their energy. And right now, you can save 10% off when you go to www.bioptimizers.com/brand and use the code BRAND. Use that code. Do use it. They even offer a full 365-day guarantee, so there's no risk. How often are you free from risk in this crazy world? Don't just manage stress. Break through it with Magnesium Breakthrough. Go to bioptimizers.com/brand. And if you subscribe, not only will you be getting amazing discounts and free gifts, we'll make sure your monthly supply is guaranteed. Bioptimizers.com/brand. Use the code BRAND for a discount and to guarantee your Magnesium Breakthrough. 7 glorious types of magnesium, baby. Hey, wherever you're watching us, X, YouTube, or Rumble, ultimately you will have to join us over on Rumble. We are part of Rumble's new daily post and Bongino Army lineup. Join us over there. Thanks, Tim Cast, for the raid. Thanks, Crowder, for the raid. I want to talk about the American health situation before getting into some stuff about Doge. And guys, I can't see it. Oh, yeah, here it is. I found it. Check it out. Now, If you're online a lot, you will read a lot about Bobby Kennedy. I know a lot of people in the chat love Bobby Kennedy and think that Bobby Kennedy was the difference between voting MAGA and not voting MAGA. Bobby Kennedy was the difference between seeing Trump as the figure that emerged in 2016, a populist, a nationalist, an American first nativist. But now, what is Trump? What is this man who brings Kid Rock into the Oval Office? What is this movement against globalism and imperialism? Why does the legacy media spend so much time trying to attack it and destroy it? I was significantly impacted by Bobby Kennedy joining the MAGA movement. But I know a lot of you think that Bobby Kennedy, and if you're a fan of like Ian Carroll, you'd have seen a bunch of stuff about that. But I happen to know that Bobby Kennedy is a beautiful, good, decent man. I will vouch for that dude. I will vouch for him. So why is it that the American corporate world is turning on Bobby Kennedy with such ferocity? Well, probably because of the old objectives that they have always had. Big food and big pharma will be threatened by these movements in American health. The American Heart Association, for example, accepts money from companies like Coca-Cola and Kellogg's. Is that one company? No, Kraft. Anyway, let's get into this story right now, because we got to learn how to significantly change the American psyche, American health, and more importantly, even than that, oppose the imperialist agenda that's got my country by the throat. We'll be talking about that a little later, as well as Doge, and as well as looking at the difference between a scripted fictional drama and a documentary. Something that plainly needs to be explained to the leader of my nation, the United Kingdom. First of all, let's have a look at this. The American Heart Association has sent an employee to Texas to fight a bill that would stop food stamps being spent on sugary, salty foods. Let me know in the comments and chat if you think that there should be welfare for the poorest Americans. And let me know if you agree with me that food, when necessary, should be locally grown or locally reared organic food, that we should have a healthier America. What kind of psychic scar does your great nation bear that it thrives on making people sick and ill? Let's get into it.
I often say that I can never be surprised in this building, but for the American Heart Association to be against this bill.
SB 379 seeks to remove soda, candy, potato and corn chips, and cookies from the list of items eligible for purchase with SNAP.
My name is Alec Puente, and I'm the Director of Government Relations for the American Heart Association. I'm here to testify today in opposition to Senate Bill 379.
I would encourage you to look at what it restricts.
The Heart Association is concerned about potential impacts of this bill on participation and population health. Imposing nutritional restrictions will interfere with the primary function of SNAP, reducing hunger, without reducing root causes of chronic disease.
I'm here because I want to support the children on this program and protect them from the chronic disease that sugar will lead them to develop. Actually advocated for this bill in Arizona and was shocked by the big soda companies sending their own person to come and advocate for the fact that there's no correlation between soda consumption and obesity, which is just a straight up lie.
Very interesting to see that the Heart Association would protest against measures designed to make the poorest Americans healthier. Let me know what you think about that in the comments and chat. Here's Andrew Halberman's response. This is really terrible. AHA, please give us one justification for sugary soda in service to health. Nutritious food and drink is what people, especially children, need most. No legitimate cardiologist would support this. No pediatrician will keep amplifying, and he applauds someone that's been supporting it. Here's a person that I turn to continually on matters of nutrition, friend of the show, Callie Means. Callie Means, of course, famously worked for Coca-Cola and then became a kind of whistleblower, talking in depth and at length about the dangers of corn syrups and sugars. Here's his response to this article from the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal spoke to 30 packaged food company leaders. They said their greatest business threat was Americans wanting to be healthy. How do you feel about that? Let me know in the comments and chat. It seems that some of the most powerful interests in your country benefit from keeping you sick, like you are on some kind of conveyor belt of sickness where you eat food that makes you ill, then you have to take drugs that make you better. They profit. Furthermore, there's the tangential, less direct, but equally significant benefit to the powerful that if you're eating bad food and taking bad farmer all the time. You're like some delirious nitwit. Let me know if, like me, you have joined the health revolution, whether your tongue is methylene blue every single morning, whether you're continually necking various mushroom-derived products. Let me know what supplements you're taking. Are you creatined up to the nines like me, drinking that powder, stirring it, it settles at the bottom every day? Because this is a two-sided argument. There's no reason at all why American health couldn't significantly change with the right leadership. That even the poorest Americans could be eating locally sourced food, locally grown and reared animals, if they're eating animals, locally grown vegetables and products. But what that would mean is a breakdown in big agriculture, the kind of big agriculture that's supported by Bill Gates, that rampaged around the world, a modern-day nerd Viking, ensuring that Indian agriculture was patented up and totally controlled, getting involved in Africa where he wasn't wanted or needed. This is a chance, a real chance for you Americans to eat healthier, get stronger, keep your government accountable. I'm one of them people that's totally changed their perspective on something like the right to bear arms. I used to have a woolly liberal view, like, oh, you can't have firearms. Of course people are getting killed if the population is armed. Now I see it the way that you see it, that if you have an armed population, it keeps the government accountable. Perhaps you'll argue back right now in the Rumble chat and say you think that the military couldn't oppose an armed population. Certainly it's a lot more difficult to control an armed population, but we don't just mean armed with armaments and artillery, we mean armed with information. That's why they want to control platforms like Rumble. They don't want you knowing the truth about the pandemic. They don't want you knowing the truth about the various so-called conspiracy theories that light up these spaces. Educate yourself, nourish yourself on good food and good information, so that you can oppose these corrupt systems. Let me know what you think about that, Liberty Gardener 1907. Let me know what you think about that, Diva Dog Mum. Let me know what you think about that, Eva Scott Ruby on the Rumble chat. Oh no, Huberman's just said methylene blue isn't great every day. I'm drinking that stuff. My urine's blue. My urine looks like Smurf piss. It looks like Smurf piss. Who could love me? Who could love me? Kanye, I'm coming, baby. This world's gone crazy. So let me go back to that Callie Means tweet. This is what the Wall Street Journal said. Another concern for food companies is that the so-called Make America Healthy Again, or MAHA movement, could begin influencing low-income consumers' eating habits as well. While Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy's Jr.'s call for the removal of artificial dyes from the food supply likely won't pose a significant financial challenge, many companies have already eliminated these additives in their European products and could easily do the same here. The real threat lies in MAHA's potential to reshape Americans' overall perception of food. Now, that's precisely what you want government to do. If you're going to have a government, why not have them reshape the perspectives of a nation to the benefit of that population, instead of, as has been happening, controlling the consciousness of individuals, communities, and entire nations and the planet as a whole in order to facilitate the deep state and powerful global commercial corporate interests. The pandemic was the raising of the curtain. It was the tearing of the veil. It was a mass awakening for all of us. How can we still be quibbling and filibustering among one another now that we know the truth, that God is real, that we have the opportunity to create and prepare for his return? Why would we quibble and squabble eating sugary foods and salty foods when we could be awakening together? Let me know what you think about that in the comments in the chat. Apparently, the world is changing fast because it used to be a conspiracy theory to be concerned about fluoride. Someone in the chat, Mark Frankie, just said, play Hitler again. You got it, baby. I'm here to serve. Here he is, everybody's favorite dictator, that man that reclaimed the swastika from those pesky Hindus and Buddhists. It's Adolf, not in my name, you bloody well don't. How many golds, Jesse Owens? Hitler, just sitting down and enjoying himself in Berlin one day. There he goes. Oh, man. Come on. Somebody's got to put up a race against Jesse Owens. Oh, God, look at him go. This methamphetamine isn't working. It isn't working. It's the bloody juice. It's the bloody juice, I tell you. Maybe. Was he right? Who's to say? I don't know. I think we can close the book on Hitler, can we? Maybe not. It turns out he might have been living the Vida Loco up in Argentina, according to Javier Milieu. That Hitler bit goes over good with a Jew hate crowd, says Jay Frith. I don't know if you could take the guy seriously after that, could you? He does look like he's rocking. Okay, let's have a look at this. Utah, not Utah. Utah gone banned itself some fluoride. Utah has banned fluoride. Let me know if when you clean your teeth every day you check, or if you drink, as I do, sparkly water, like this sexy little bastard, Topo Chico, you think, what is there in there? Fluoride, microplastics. What are you drugging us with now, you evil bastards? This is why we need Bobby Kennedy running the HHS. Let's have a look at this. Apparently, fluoride is banned in Utah. Would that have happened without our man?
Utah has become the first state to ban fluoride drinking water. It's pushing past opposition from some dentists and health.
Yeah, Utah, the German kid in Bart's class. I begged you to look at mine first. I begged you. I like that kid.
Dentists and health organizations who warn that the move could lead to medical problems for some people. Republican Governor Spencer Cox signed the legislation on Thursday, barring cities and communities from deciding whether to add the mineral to their water systems. The Associated Press says that Florida, Ohio, and South Carolina are considering similar measures as well.
The world is changing fast, baby. America is getting healthier again. I remember it was when I watched Kim Anderson's film, What the Fork, or one of those vegan movies. You know, I used to be vegan. Of course you do. What vegan ever shut up for 10 minutes about their veganism? None that I've ever met. Now, in that vegan movie by Kip Anderson, he went to like the Cancer Association of America and the Heart Association of America and found out that they accepted extraordinary amounts of funding from big food corporations. Let me know in the comments and chat if that's a practice that should be banned. If you want to reshape America, you can't spend all your time just arguing about transgender issues, whether you're for it or against it. Ultimately, you have to move to matters of the spirit, matters of control, maximum subsidiarity. Why shouldn't you run your own communities? Why should your power be impeded and impaired so that big food can benefit from you being sick, so that big pharma can jump on the next engineered pandemic in order to sell their next product? What you need in a position of power is the likes of Bobby Kennedy and the coterie that now surrounds him. I include my good friend Dr. Oz in that, and Marty Makari and Jay Bhattacharya. These people can change government. Democracy actually can work, but these institutions have been captured too long by globalist corporatist interests. As an old school lefty liberal, I would have understood that to mean groups like Kraft controlling big food and Pfizer controlling big pharma. That's why my little heart pumping good and strong, baby. That's why my children are looking healthy and fly right now, because you don't get that shit in my arm for free, let me tell you. If them vaccine companies had really wanted me to take their product, what they should have done is hid it somewhere in my house and told me under no circumstances to touch that. Because that's the way you get a drug in my body, baby, by making it banned. But I'm 22 and a half years, clean and free from all drugs now, only mainlining the light of the Lord, the holy luminosity that comes direct from him, and that's the drug that I'd recommend to you too. The American Heart Association, if they're recommending sugary, salty foods, are obviously totally corrupt. Obviously, that would apply to any oncological groups. And we are in a revolutionary moment when it comes to the health of your great nation. Join the awakening. Oppose big pharma, oppose big food, and oppose corrupt media that support them because they have to, because they pay their wages. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat? If you're watching us on YouTube, we are out, baby. And you're going to want to join us because we're going to be talking about my country. When the Magamaha movement took control of your nation across the world, the EU, the UN and NATO, all those bureaucratic organizations were like, we cannot let another one fall. I don't know why I'm doing a German accent. I don't know why I'm doing a German accent. All of them said, we cannot let it go the way of the Magamaha. We must control England. We must control France. That is why the world are gone kind of crazy these days. We're going to be talking about the UK. We're going to be talking about propaganda. Join us over there. If you're watching us on X, we'll be with you for a few more minutes. And if you are a Rumble Premium subscriber, you get additional content from us most every day, as well as crowd art and Paul.